how to create valuable relationships on the internet, or how to find digital mentors. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some ideas that you should keep in mind if you are starting your journey or midway or even already at the top and you want to go higher. You're looking at people that you can collaborate with, communities to join, and you just have no idea how to build those relationships. Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Kamga. I am your host, and on this channel, I make videos for people who are starting their creative journeys or already on it and figuring out how to make use of digital tools, their relationships, and basically all the things around them to either make some money out of this or just find fulfillment because they just like what they do. If that's something you're interested in, if you're wanting to learn more about writing and books, social media, and also finding out perspectives from somebody who left Cameroon, a country that wasn't exactly hyped up for its creativity, and now lives in a place where me, can make use of all these things and create new content. I would like to share my experience with you, and if you want to keep getting videos like this, click the subscribe button. If you haven't, if you have, thank you. And if you have done that already, the next thing you need to do is to click the notification bell. What is that, you ask? The notification bell is what allows you to know whenever I post a video. For example, before talking about this video, I made a video on value because the very first tip about building relationships online is that you have to provide value. And you can watch that video right here. You live somewhere where you have access to the internet. Nobody around you knows what to do around your art. Maybe you're a YouTuber and you're the only person who creates YouTube videos around your area. You have no access to other YouTubers, you have no access to a YouTube community, or maybe you're a writer and you really like to write, you like to read books and read stories, but you have nobody around you that can give you advice on how to improve your reading, improve your writing, find a way to sustain your life through your art. You don't know what to do. So how do you go about doing it? How do you go about building relationships with people who are already where you want to be and learning from them? Those people, I like to call them digital mentors. I've been lucky to be able to meet one of those my mentors here in the US this year in February. I met with Srini Rao, who is the host and founder of the Untitled Creative podcast, an amazing podcast that I recommend to every single creative. I'm going to put the links to everything I talk about are in the description, and if I do forget to put a link, just leave a comment and I'll make sure I find it and drop it for you. So I met with Srini. And Srini had been a huge influence in my life. From 2016, I've been listening to the podcast, taking ideas from the podcast, learning from Sarah Peck to Jeff Goins, all the people that I now look at and whose books I read, whose videos I watch. They're all those kind of people that I met through the podcast. I was lucky to meet Srini, but the way I met Srini, for me to actually get into this video, I need to explain to you how it all happened. How did this little guy from Cameroon get to physically meet one of his digital mentors? Because I think, if anything, that should be the main reason why you're even watching this video. Like, what even puts me in a position to let you know how to build those relationships, right? I was able to meet with Srini. James Altucher, who is also somebody that I follow a lot, actually follows me on Twitter, which is not much. Ayodeji Awosika, I talked about him in this video where I was talking about starting a writing career. We are following each other on Twitter and we talk on YouTube. And if you go to that video, you actually see his comment. So I think I've sort of figured out, because it's still a journey, how to build those relationships on the internet. I might have to make a video where I talk to you about how I met Srini. But the summary of the story is, I found out through Facebook that he was in Denver. I sent a message to a mutual friend, actually not even a mutual friend, it was just some random person that I did not even know on the internet. I sent him a message, I was like, hey, I see here that you're with Srini in Denver. Is there any way you could tell Srini that I would like to meet him and talk and just have coffee? Like, I would drive to wherever he has to drive to go there. And so, I mean, in that moment, I was like, what is the worst that could happen? They could say no, right? I send a message, friend talks to Srini. Srini's like, sure, let's meet. I'll be at this place giving a talk. Does this time work? Yeah, this is my number, send me a text. I text Srini, he's like, yeah, sure, let's go. I go there and I meet my hero, right? How does that happen? So I actually asked him, I was like, Srini, why did you even agree to meet me? Like, for all intents and purposes, I was wondering, how the hell would this guy who's never met me, never seen me anywhere, actually agree to sit and have coffee with me? He was like, well, I know you support my work, I've seen you online, we've had a conversation, you're not exactly a stalker. He said he knows me. When people look at the internet, people talk about digital world and all this interconnectivity, there's a tendency to try to make it sound like the internet is a separate part of the world. Gary Vaynerchuk says the internet actually exposes us, and some people say the internet makes it worse. For me, What I realized is that when you treat the internet like your real world, not in the sense of pouring out everything, because even in the real world, you don't walk around telling everybody your troubles, right? You don't walk around hugging strangers and be like, hey, I just won this new promotion at work. There's a certain level of privacy and intimacy that still governs the real world. On the internet, the bad side of the internet is that people curate. They put only the good things, only the great things. And so when you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, when you keep in mind the fact that it's a real world, when I was interacting with Srini's content, I would recommend it to friends because I actually thought it was valuable. I would tag people on it. I would leave comments. I would do all these things because I thought what Srini was doing was valuable. He never asked me to do it. He never gave me a shout out because I did it. He was seeing it. Even when he followed me on Instagram before he came to Denver, I was like, yo, bro. I mean, I didn't say bro. Yo, Srini, I just wanted to tell you thank you for all the value that you're creating. I find it really interesting. And I think, and in 2016, without you, I would have stayed in this long-term internship that I did not like. And that was it. That is the backstory of how I met Srini. And now let's actually get into the real video of how you can build those relationships. Number one, I have a feeling that you already know this. I said it earlier. Provide value. When you want to build relationships, if you think about value, I made a video on value that you can watch. Value is not about you. Value is about the other person. Also, value is relative. What is valuable for you might not be valuable for the other person. So this means I need to figure out what will be valuable for this person in front of me. If I'm trying to get somebody to teach me how to do YouTube, what do they need? Do they need help? Do they need assistance? Do they need to build their audience? Do they need to reach out to somebody? When these people that you're looking up to, maybe they are small audience, maybe it's a YouTuber that you really like around your area, figure out what they need and provide that value. And when I say figure out what they need, it doesn't mean that you suddenly become their girlfriend or boyfriend because they've been seeing that they're single. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm saying is something that actually you can give them and walk away. It could be watching their video and be like, I think given what I've seen, I feel like this couple of ideas will be something that people would like to watch. Like I've been collecting your comments and I've discovered that people talk about this thing over and over and over. I think this would be a good video idea for you. Provide value for these people that you want to connect with. Read their articles and leave comments, constructive comments, not just comments to attract attention, but comments that actually help them think about things differently. Maybe it's a blogger that you enjoy reading, a blogger that you might one day want to meet. Yes, you do have that in the back of your mind that, maybe one day I would love to meet with this person or, just connect with them somehow. When you read their articles, imagine yourself being the blogger and what would you like to read? Like if this article doesn't make sense, say like, you know what, I like the way you write. I've been reading you for years, but this particular thing that you said, I don't agree with. Here's why I don't agree with, here's what I think. That conversation might be all they needed to know that the point that they were trying to make has gotten across. And then guess what? They will remember you. When you interact with their content, when you interact with their videos, their podcasts, their anything and leave comments, all on Twitter. Roberto Blake, Brittany Crystal, James Altucher, Ayodeji Awosika. There are a bunch of people all across platforms that are connected with me, not because they like me, not because they pity me, but because we've had this interaction. And what I've realized that happens is it takes time to get there. It could be 3 years, it could be 6 months, but when what you do adds value to the person you want to connect with, then you increase your chances of actually connecting with them. And this brings us to number 2. Be specific with the kind of feedback on your work. For example, things like, oh man, this was so great, it's inspiring, I like your writing. Yeah, that's good. Any polite person will be like, well, thank you, I really appreciate that. What I've noticed that happens when you do this other thing that I'm about to talk about, which is different, where you actually find, what did I actually learn from this article? How did this article help me? What did I use from here? You listen to a podcast episode and, for example, with me and Srini, Jeff Goins really opened up my mind to don't fake it until you make it, become it. The big idea in that particular conversation that I listened was, instead of saying that I want to be a writer, I'm going to pretend to be a writer until I become a writer. You look at it this way, it's like, what do writers do? And then you do those things. By doing the things that writers do, you become a writer. It may sound very simple, but if you think about it, what do YouTubers do? They are consistent, they make valuable content, they show up on a regular basis, they follow the Tao of YouTube, right? Hook, intro, value. The video should not be too long, it should not be too short either, it should be long enough to give the point, but short enough to get them go. When you focus on becoming the kind of person that you want to become, you get to that point. Those are specific feedback that I gave Srini. When I look at Ayodeji's, for example, writing, I see actionable items. It forces you, when you want to build this relationship, you have to put yourself in the mind frame of, it's not just about what you want, it's actually about looking at somebody's work and picking out the things that can help them improve their work or grow or verify that what they are doing actually works. So it's not about you. Give them feedback that is very specific. Specific doesn't have to mean 1 or 2 lines. It could actually be like a whole paragraph of an article. Almost everybody that I want to connect with, I find a way to read their work in a way that allows me to think. So you don't show up there and just be like, oh my God, I love you, you're so great. It's more like, this piece of work that you made resonated with me with this specific way. Here's what I think, here's what made me think. And there is something about that I feel, because I've gotten that kind of feedback on my own work. The people that I tend to gravitate towards in terms of maybe trying to give a helping hand or provide feedback are people that I've interacted with in this kind of way. And when you provide specific feedback, you're more likely to increase that interactivity. When you see somebody you want to connect with, somebody you want to build a relationship with, take the time to give feedback that actually benefits them. The third point might be a little bit like a no-brainer, but I feel like many people forget about it. Support the people whose work you admire by buying their book, paying for their courses, clapping on their articles, sharing their posts. When you want to build a relationship with somebody, you need to find what is in for them. You already want something. You want that relationship. They probably don't even want it. They don't know you. They have enough. They have no idea who you are. But when you come to give, when you come as a giver, where you're not thinking about what is in for you, but what's in for them, the reason why I say this is a no-brainer is there's so many people. I saw this tweet recently by Ramit Sethi. I think it's Ayo who actually retweeted this tweet, where somebody who was at $17,000 in debt was tweeting like, hey Ramit, is your book going to help me get out of debt? I've been racking this debt for 6 years. And Ramit is like, this guy doesn't want to buy my $10 book, but was okay with racking $17,000 of debt. When you look at that picture, imagine, why would somebody want to connect with you if you cannot make the investment in what they created for you to actually help you? Why would somebody want to connect with you if you don't even follow them on YouTube? You don't even watch their videos enough to know what they do. How would you reach out to somebody in the DM and be like, oh my God, I admire your work and I would like us to have coffee, and then there's nothing in that particular message that even says that you consume their content? Why? If you want to support somebody, if you want to connect with that person, you need to show them that they deserve, you deserve their time. You've invested in them, you've given them something, and they are more likely to do it. Like, they don't have to. There's the other kicker, there's the other side. They don't have to connect with you. There are people you send DMs to and they will never respond. It's not that they hate you. Some of these people are actually pretty busy. Some of them, maybe they actually are just not nice people. Like, there are all kinds of reasons. And you will do all these things. You will buy their books, you will follow them on YouTube, you will leave comments, and sometimes they would not respond. And guess what? Sometimes they are seeing it and they're also just patient and they don't have time to do it. And one day you will be surprised that they'll be like, yeah, I know you. I've been reading your comments on my post. And you're like, what? You know me? Oh my God. The next point I want to make is something that you might not like. Something that you might refuse to take into account because it sounds almost crazy given the topic of this thing. You want to build a relationship with somebody, but I'm telling you this. So what is this? When reaching out, give them an out. This means when you're trying to connect with them, when you're trying to have coffee, trying to get their help to give you feedback on their blog posts, to help you out with your YouTube channel, like, oh, I don't know how to start, can you help me? Give them the opportunity to say no without having to feel bad for it. These people are busy people. If you want to build a relationship with somebody, it means they have something that you want. And for them to have gotten to that thing, they're either talented or they have worked hard and they're probably having a busy life. So when you come to somebody and like, man, it would be great for us to connect, maybe have a phone call, have a coffee, but I would understand if you cannot do it. I would understand if you're not able to do this because, like, not even because, it's like, I would understand and it's fine. And you really mean it. This is not like a thing where you're just tricking them to be like, oh my God, I feel bad. No, it's really, take a step back and think about this. You want to reach out to this podcast host. You're like, man, I don't know what this guy is doing in Denver. That's what I was thinking about Srini. I don't know what this guy is doing here. He's probably busy. He's probably trying to relax. He's trying to escape from the whole internet life, and I'm coming here and wanting to hang out with him and have coffee. Like, why? No, so even when I asked his friend, like, it's okay if he says no. It's okay if he doesn't want to meet. It's totally fine because I understand. Put yourself in these people's shoes, but give them an out. It's one thing that I see a lot of people who want to connect with other people who don't realize that these people are busy. They're building these businesses, they're building these careers, they're doing all these things, and they don't have time to waste, in quotes. I'm saying waste in quotes because I believe that you also have things to do, and they're not wasting time with you. Wasting sounds like you're useless or you don't have a life or you don't have things to do. They don't have all the time in the world. Like you, they have 24 hours. And providing that place where they can say, I'm sorry, maybe next time, and you're like, cool, trust me. The day they return to you, they would appreciate that a lot more than you might imagine. People who are busy tend to appreciate other people who respect their time. So respect their time. Maybe that would have been the title of this. Respect their time. When you write to them, don't expect them to respond to you like 2 seconds. No. When you write to them, leave your message and go. Maybe come back after like a week or so, like, hey, I see that you've read my message and I was just trying to check to make sure that you received it. That's it. And when you don't respond, back off. Back off. You're not the queen or king of the world. The world doesn't revolve around you. I know I think like that sometimes, but it's not true. The last point, HANLON'S razor. Never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. This could actually save your life, not just with building relationships on the internet, but building relationships in life. We tend to easily think that somebody does something bad to us because they are evil, because they want to destroy us, because they have been thinking about this grand plan to make our lives miserable. Whereas if you took the time to think about it and just say like, you know what, this person is just really dumb, and move on with your life, you would save yourself a lot of energy. You could reach out to a blogger, YouTuber, writer, creator, you could reach out to me. And I'm just really stupid to not realize how valuable you are to me. And I don't respond to your text, I don't respond to your message, I don't reply. Or I don't check my phone, or I check it. I don't know if this happens to you. Sometimes you see a message and you're like, oh yeah, let me respond to this. And then you're distracted by something, you drop the phone, and then you think that you responded. It happens to every single person, celebrity or not, influencer or not, YouTuber or not. People forget. So don't sit there and then assume that because this big YouTuber has not responded to my text, they're an evil person, they don't like me, and they think that they're better than me. Nah, that attitude would not allow you to build relationships with anybody in life, not even talking to people on the internet. So, those are 5 ideas, 5 tips, 5 mindsets that you could use to build relationships with people on the internet. And I even think that maybe you could apply to people everywhere in the world. And if there's any of these topics that you think you disagree with or you would like to add, please just go on ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed yet, now would be a good time to do that because I share videos on this channel weekly. So click on the subscribe button, click on the notification bell so that whenever I post a video, you will see it. In the meantime, here are some videos that you could watch that would improve your life or maybe make it worse. I don't know. Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.